Crunchyroll's brand new entertainment expansion service Verve is getting bigger and bigger. Not only can you watch all your favorite anime on here like Dragon Ball Super, Boruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, every episode, you can also watch classic tunes like Red vs. Blue and Happy Tree Friends. And I just found out today, Verve has the legendary anime classic Akira, which you need to see if you have not seen it yet. Check it out. They sponsor the Super Reviews. The link's in the description. You know, it's funny when you think about kind of the history of Super Saiyan God when it comes to the Dragon Ball fandom and what it means here with Super Episode 104. I remember when Super Saiyan God was first leaked. It was early 2013 or late 2012 before the Battle of Gods movie came out. And I remember a lot of people were really let down by that transformation. They were saying it was like a new Kaioken. Goku had the red hair in his base. He was all skinny looking. People were saying these things about the form. And, I can't really disagree with them. It was kind of a simplistic transformation. And then I remember, we saw it in Battle of Gods in action, and a lot of folks kind of turned their heads and were like, wow, when you see it in action, it's pretty cool. And it's interesting because that transformation was, used just once in Battle of Gods and in the Dragon Ball Super adaptation, literally 90 episodes ago. The last time we saw even a hint of Super Saiyan God, not including the manga, in the anime, was 90 episodes ago at the end of the Battle of Gods arc, or the Beerus arc, whatever you want to call it. And now, 90 episodes later, we have Dragon Ball Super Episode 104, The Return of Super Saiyan God, which is funny because that episode, Episode 14, aired 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and now here we are, and people were saying for so long, I missed that form, I love that form. After a lot of folks hated it when it first came out, well, it is indeed back. So if you missed the form, it's back in episode 104 of Super. Let's talk about it. Chozetsu Kosoku Batoru Bopatsu. Goku to Hito no Kyoto Sensen, which translates to a faster than light battle begins. Goku and Hit's joint front, featuring not only the return of Super Saiyan God, but also the first ever true team up between what I called the Dream Team, and I guess Goku called it that too, of Goku and Universe 6's assassin, Hit. Now, of course, last week we ended the episode with Universe 10 getting wiped out. Now we have 6 universes remaining in this Tournament of Power, and that's where we stand. Now, what I found interesting about the episode is I was expecting maybe a little bit of, I guess, a follow-up from that, what happened with Universe 10, but there was nothing. There was no follow-up with Gohan at all. This episode, literally from the beginning, hopped right into the Hit versus Dyspo fight. That was right from the start. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, or most of you are wondering, what my thoughts are on how they handle Super Saiyan God. Well, I'm going to get to that later on in this review, because we didn't really see Goku in this episode until the second half of the episode. The first half of this episode was pretty much entirely Dyspo versus Hit. I mean, they barely showed anybody else. There were a few cutaways to the gods having discussions, but outside of just, Champa and Beerus and them commenting on things, it just kind of was really, really focused on Hit and Dyspo for the first half. Now, one thing I do want to say about this episode is that I felt that this episode, there was a lot of reused animation, but it was good reused animation, so I can't complain. But a lot of this episode really, what I think is the biggest pro from this episode wasn't just that it was a badass episode, because I really enjoyed what Hit was doing in Goku and all. I'm getting to that in a minute. But I felt that the music in this episode was extraordinary. There were several tracks from Sumitomo that I don't remember hearing before. They brought back some classic tracks from older episodes of Super. Everything was well put together. Everything was real tight. I thought the music placement in this episode was fantastic. So there is that. So at the beginning of the episode, Hit and Dyspo are pretty much just verbally jousting each other. Again, good music from the start. Dyspo introduces himself and he says that he's figured out how to beat Hit's time skip. So I suppose off screen, Dyspo figured it out. They don't really show him figuring it out, so to speak. So it's interesting because right off the bat, Dyspo attacks and Hit tries to dodge. And he fails. Dyspo punches him right in the face. So they have this moment where Hit is shocked and everybody else is shocked. But even Dyspo is impressed because Hit did not go down after that shot. He thought that was going to be it, so he hit him a second time. Hit goes in again on Dyspo, and Dyspo catches him again. So right off the hop, bro, Dyspo is real deal. I think that the idea that Dyspo is the third strongest Pride Trooper behind Jiren and Toppo, I think is pretty accurate at this point, especially with how well he performed against Hit. Remember, even though we saw Goku defeat Hit in, I think it was episode 72, Hit has not shown too much vulnerability. In the Universe 6 arc, the dude was hanging right in there with Kaioken Blue Goku, and he has not really shown to have struggled like he did in this episode. He really, really struggled here. And what was interesting is, during this fight, there was a explanation or whatever that the Omni Kings also did not see Dyspo's attack. So Dyspo is just that fast. And it's kind of funny because the Great Priest taught them how to rewind the God Pad, which I thought was kind of funny. But I find it pretty amazing that even the Omni King, who is, the both Zenos, is the supreme overlord of the multiverse from what we've been told, even he had trouble seeing the speed of Dyspo. That's pretty impressive. And that really becomes the big story with Dyspo. Hit figures this out, too. He realizes that Dyspo is so fast that he can actually... This guy has an extremely high level of combat speed to where he can move right before Hit can create that pocket dimension to create the time skip and literally become thousands of times faster quickly. Like, that to me is amazing. Like, this Dyspo dude is way more useful than we thought. Oh, and that reminds me, I almost forgot to... I put this in my notes right here. I forgot to mention that the show has become self-aware as well. There's a conversation in the show where they actually talk about how Dyspo looks like Beerus, how Champa talks about, oh, he kind of looks like you, and then Vados like, well, you kind of look like him too, but they're brothers. So, again, are they implying that Dyspo... I had a theory about this months ago. Are they implying that Dyspo and Beerus might be related somehow with Champa? Are they from the same birth planet? I don't know if that's the case or not, because, Dyspo's more of a bunny than a cat. But that being said, I do like that the show was self-aware enough to tell us that they do look alike. So again, the first half of the episode was mostly Hit and Dyspo action. Hit realizes that he's going to have to fight hand in hand with this guy, and he does have a really good little fight. I enjoyed the little fight they had here. Lots of, quick moves, lots of strikes. I enjoyed that. The other Pride Troopers are watching the fight, and they're there. And, it's interesting because we see Jiren, Toppo, and then Kunchi, who's the little blue guy with the lasso. That's going to come into play here in a minute. But they're going at it, Hit and Dyspo. They're smashing rocks. Hit uses, the after image technique. And it actually looks like Hit eliminates Dyspo. This is a great, great false finish here. He knocks Dyspo out of the ring. They go to commercial break. I think that's when they went to commercial break right here. I think this is when it happened. And then when we get back to the episode, it looks like he's done. But Kunshi comes in and uses his lasso technique and brings him back into the ring. That's the short blue-green guy. So now it becomes Dyspo and Kunchi against Hit, 2 versus 1. So Dyspo goes in to attack Hit. Kunchi uses his lasso to trap Hit's leg. Then Dyspo pummels Hit. Again, goes back to what I said earlier about how Hit's taking some real damage here. I mean, he's going to work on this dude. Khalifa and Kale, who do make some small appearances in this episode, they're looking this and they're wanting to get involved, but it's looking bad for Hit. They have a really interesting respect for Hit. So then suddenly there's this huge fiery explosion, rawr, and it's freaking Goku. He blocks the shot with his hand. He is in Super Saiyan God form. Amazing music here. This was a great scene right here. Just seeing the way they reintroduced this transformation was great. Now, the explanation for this transformation, okay, and why Goku's using the God form now, pretty much was explained by Beerus and Whis, and it's pretty much very similar to what was explained in the Toyotaro manga. This is almost identical. I did a video called Super Saiyan God Returns way back with Herms, and I did another one more recently called Super Saiyan God Vegeta Explained, and that's the video that explains what I'm about to tell you. I'm going to shorten it up for this one, but I'm going to link to that video later so you can watch it because at the end of this video, because if you don't understand this, that'll clear it up. And by the way, we don't know if Vegeta can do the red-haired God form. We do not know that in the anime. In the manga, he can. In the Toyotaro manga, he can. In the anime, he cannot. Two different continuities, okay? But this is this very similar explanation here, and that is that Super Saiyan God, the red-haired form, is faster than Super Saiyan Yellow, the golden-haired form, the traditional Super Saiyan form, but it uses up less energy than Super Saiyan Blue. So the way it's tiered out is there's Yellow, then there's Red, which is faster than Yellow, but it doesn't use as much energy as Blue does. So the idea of like Blue giving you more energy control, that's out the window here. I mean, that's really out the window because Blue uses up more energy. If it was about energy control and speed, Goku would just use the God form. Now, why Goku did not use the God form before this, I can't give you an answer. It's probably a marketing thing. To be honest with you, this whole thing is a marketing thing, and it is a little bit of a contradiction as to what God was originally. Because remember, originally, according to Resurrection F, the blue-haired form was basically Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan on top of it. That's what it was. Now, in this sort of explanation, it's not exactly that. It's just the in-between form. That's what it is. Now, whether or not you like that or not, that's entirely up to you. I really don't care, to be honest. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me a little bit because I felt that the explanation was kind of like, come on, bro. Like, I'm looking at them like, dude, it's a marketing ploy. You want to sell more toys. But I just felt like it was very, whatever. It was just like a whatever thing. Like, it really doesn't bother me. Like, it really doesn't. But it's kind of cool seeing the transformation. And I like the idea of Goku using that form to conserve energy. And in the episode, all right, I'm going to get to this part right now. Goku does jump in between red and blue. He goes red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, just like in the manga. So pretty much what Toyotaro wrote in the manga has been adopted into the Dragon Ball Super anime. It becomes a tag team battle. Goku and Hit versus Dyspo and Kunchi, again, the Dream Team. Dyspo nails Goku with some shots and actually manages to hit him before he could even teleport. So yeah, Goku goes from red to blue and back to red again. And meanwhile, Hit is having trouble with Kunchi and his lassos, which are also explosives. So there's another layer to that one. And I thought that was pretty funny. So Dyspo is talking to Goku. Goku's like, yeah, these Universe 11 guys are tough. So Hit talks about, why don't we switch? So Hit goes in on Dyspo, knees him in the gut, pretends to time skip, but he doesn't, knees him in the gut. Great music once again. Goku goes from red to blue to set off the explosive lassos, nails Kunchi in the gut, and then pummels him with a barrage of ki blasts. This was total badassery right here. Dyspo goes in for a shot. Hit time skips and punches him right in the mouth. Then Hit says the fight's over, and he's like, I'll throw you out of the arena if you don't want to give up. And again, these dudes are just trash talking, just like, this is all raw, like, manly stuff here. It's just so awesome. Hit starts to fuck this dude's world up with shots, bro. He goes into time skip and starts to literally, run through this freaking guy, man. Hit's time skip has evolved to it being even faster than before, and that's crazy. So Hit, they have this awesome scene where Hit grabs him by the ear, right, and he's like, look, you're finished or whatever. And Kunchi saves him again. Because he's going to throw him out of the arena. Kunchi saves him again. So, basically, he wants to attack so that Dyspo can retreat. So, he attacks Hit, but Hit's like, screw you. He gets behind him, nails him in the spine, and Kunchi is out. He has been eliminated by Hit. This is the only elimination in this episode. So, one elimination, one Pride Trooper out. Universe 11 is now down to 3 Pride Troopers, but they're not. They're still overconfident because of the power of Jiren and Toppo, and it's interesting because it's like, I think these two guys and Dyspo, these 3 guys, Dyspo, Toppo, and Jiren. Toppo realizes it's all about survival now. These 3 guys are not going to be pushovers. They are the 3 strongest guys from Universe 11 without question. The episode ends with Hit pretty much telling Goku, I'm not going to fight you right now, but we'll fight in the future. And then Goku, tells him that, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. 35 minutes left in the tournament, and that is the end of the episode. Also, it was stated, this is going to be controversial for some people, but let's talk about it. Topo says that Dyspo has surpassed the speed of sound and the speed of light. So if you're out there and you still think that Dragon Ball characters can't do that, I mean, it's outwardly said here. But again, I do find it weird that the Omni Kings didn't see it. They missed it. You would think that, I suppose maybe they're just really strong, but they have no combat experience, and that's what we said before. So to me, that makes sense. If they train their eyes to kind of learn that, maybe they could see it. But again, the idea of this character being this, incredibly top-tier god, he is flawed, talking about the Omni King, just like anybody else is in the Dragon Ball universe. So I think I covered everything that I have here in my notes. If I missed something, I'll probably cover it in a video during the week. I'm definitely going to be rewatching this episode to see if I missed anything about the blue and red thing, because that's, again, it just came off like a very similar explanation to the manga. Yellow has power, the golden form. Obviously, it's a multiplier of 50 times according to the guidebooks, but that may not even apply anymore because Dragon Ball Super changes the rules all the time, but maybe it still does, who knows. And then we have red, where it's all about speed and a little bit more power. And then blue is more, it drains your stamina more. It's harder to maintain. So it's cool, but it's also like, I sit here and I wonder, why didn't Goku use these tactics before? Like in previous battles with different characters. Why didn't we see Goku, you go from red to blue? And it's funny because in the manga, Toyotaro, and during the fight with Goku and Hit, Toyotaro drew Goku going from yellow to red to blue. So Super Saiyan God is not stronger than blue, but it is faster than yellow, but it doesn't use up as much energy as blue. So basically Goku is conserving his blue power for a greater foe. But he didn't do this before, so I'm just kind of left like, whatever. Hey, tell me what you think in the comments. Are you cool with this? Did this episode piss you off? Was the badassery of the episode enough to get over the hump of how weird it is to see the red form come back? Like, how do you feel about it? I want to know. I mean, like I said, these things don't really bother me that much. I've been pissed off at Super in the past. There's way worse things that they've done, in my opinion. This is not that big of a deal. I just sort of wish that they would give us a better explanation. That's my honest opinion on that. Oh, I want to clarify this too before the misinformation spreads. Blue is still faster than red. Red is faster than yellow. Blue is still faster than red, but it eats up more power, and Goku wants to save that for a greater foe, which of course will probably be Jiren, or maybe even Hit himself later on. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out the video, the review. Don't forget to support Dragon Ball Super over on Verve, same company that owns Crunchyroll. They got Red versus Blue on there. They got tons of classic cartoons as well as some new cartoons as well, and anime. Rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho on there, My Hero Academia, dubbed and subbed. Verve is the sponsor of the Dragon Ball Super reviews here on this channel, and I thank you so very much for checking out my review. And like I said, I'm sure there'll be more to talk about during the week about all this craziness in this episode. I'm going to rewatch it about 2 or 3 more times and give you my thoughts. If anything, if I sense anything like a revelation, I will do another video on it, I promise you, and we'll all talk about it again. Thank you. Have a great day.